Hey guys, this is Jake with P3. In this video we're going to show you how to install the display portion of your boost gauge or multi-gauge into the Mk4 platform Volkswagens. One note about these is you will need to get the Jetta style vent if you don't already have it, or if you don't order it pre-installed from us. The Golf style vent has a one-piece design where all these slats roll as a unit. The Jetta design has them all move individually, and you will need the Jetta design for our display to fit in properly. So if you don't have that one, you'll have to get that. Just a side note. Before I get started, I always like to test these. I've got a little test rig set up here. You can go ahead and just plug everything up into your car, into your OBD2 port, start it up. Just make sure it turns on. Make sure the buttons both function, which this one on my test unit doesn't have information there, but yeah, you just want to make sure it functions. That way you don't have to install everything and then take it right back out if there's any issues. So we're good to go, so we'll get started. Okay, I like to start on these by taking off the vent face by prying right here and then just working my way around and disengaging each one of those locking tabs, and then it just kind of falls right off. The Jetta style vents are also the vent wheels lit up, so this harness connects both pieces together. I like to just turn it around and set it on itself as like a little pedestal there. So all of these horizontal slats will come out as an assembly, and this display is going to take the place of the top three. So we need to remove these top three horizontal slats, but we need to retain both of these pegs because they lock into the vent wheel here in this slot, and that's how you get your up-down movement. So we need to make sure we leave those. So what I do, and if you're at home, you don't have to cut any of the slider bar apart. You can leave it all intact. I like to take them out just so there's less pieces floating around in there, but it's just a personal preference. So I go ahead and snip here and here. And so now I've still got my bottom two intact, I've still got both my pegs intact, but the top three have been disconnected. So now we actually just need to remove those from the vent. So I like to use a pair of snips and not cut, but just slightly apply pressure and twist, and it helps pop these out without breaking the pegs off inside the side brackets. So if you just be gentle with it and go slow, you'll be fine. Okay. Alright, once we got those out of the way, we can just put our display in place. And I like to just kind of pinch these between two fingers, just lightly, just to hold them together, and they typically don't fall apart. And then we've got three pegs on each side of our display that are going to take the place of the three slats we just took out. So it just fits right in there like so. Then I'll just pinch it between my fingers. What I like to do with the display cable is I'll go right up to the edge here and then give it a nice kink and then pinch it. And what that's going to do is help keep the cable over to the left side of the vent housing. That way when your vertical slats are moving back and forth, this cable is not interfering with their movement. It'll make everything work a lot easier for you. Alright, so now we can drop our display cable down through the vent housing, and we want to go all the way to the left side and underneath the air flow flap in the back. Just like so. Sometimes these can be a little tricky to push through, but just keep applying pressure, it'll eventually go through. Alright, so when we're putting this slat assembly back in, we need to make sure that these two pegs go into the slot here and here. And if you didn't move your vent wheel around a lot, it should go back in if this is in the same position as well. But if not, you may just have to move this up and down a little bit to get these to engage. So you might have to play around with it a little bit, but it'll go back in. I like to try to get the pegs lined up first, and then I worry about the rest of the vent slats going in. And if you keep just mild pressure applied, this shouldn't come apart, but if it does, like mine just did, you just kind of gently line it back up and you should be alright. Okay. Okay, so that's in place. And I'll just kind of keep a little pressure right here while I bring the face back around. We also want to make sure that this harness for the lighted vent wheel doesn't go up on top of this trim. It needs to tuck underneath like this as we reassemble that. So I just get everything lined up, and this actually just pushes together pretty easily. We'll just double check. We got 2 clips on top. We want to make sure are engaged. 2 on this side, and then this peg right here. So it looks like we're all good. So now I'll just give it a move, and it looks like our vent slats are working properly. And then we got our left, right as well. So we're going to go around to the back side now, and we want to make sure that this is not twisted like this. We want it to be as flat as possible. That keeps it out of the way of the vertical slats up inside, and also it's going to just keep this from getting damaged and allow this air flap to also function. So I like to make sure it's not pulled tight out of the vent as well. I want to keep a little bit of slack forward. That just allows we kinked the display cable up into this corner to keep it out of the way of the vertical slats. And if you pull it tight, you pull it against those slats, and it's going to hamper their movement. So go ahead and leave a little slack up in there, make sure it's not twisted up, and then just shut the vent slat, and that'll lock your display cable into place. So right now, if you're at home, you can just fold this around the back, and then you're ready to install. So when you install it in, your plenum in the back is going to hold the cable into place, and now you can let that go. The cable's not going anywhere. It's also going to be fine to be pinched around there. When I pre-install these at the shop for the units that are ordered pre-installed, I'll just take it a little further. I like to put a little snip, maybe like 1/8 of an inch on each side of the cable, like 1/8 of an inch deep. And I'll just clear out just a little groove for the cable to sit in. Just makes the display installation just a little bit cleaner and just a little more OEM looking. Might make the display installation slightly easier as well. And I'll just put a little dab of glue there and there. And that's just going to help hold that cable in place, like so. Alright, so now we're all installed. We'll go ahead and just check our vent function. Our up-down works good, left and right works good. Then we'll go ahead and plug this back into our test unit again, or you can plug it into your car. You can just set this on your lap in the car. We just, once again, we want to make sure both buttons function correctly, nothing happened during install, no cables got cut, anything like that. So, looks like we're good on this one. So this unit's ready to install in the car. Let us know what you think about these installation videos. We want to help you guys out as much as possible with these. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to message down below or shoot us an email, service@p3cars.com. Check our website out, p3gauges.com. Also check us out on Instagram, @p3gauges. Thanks guys.